Hi, I'm David with EV World News. We talk about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. And it's Black Friday today. And I'm here with our founder and chief editor, Bill Moore. And we have absolutely nothing to sell you unless you need a small modular nuclear reactor.
Well, yeah, right.
Or maybe grid scale battery storage systems.
Or grid scale battery storage system. And I'm working on another project that might actually someday come in handy for, but we'll talk about that some other day.
Yes. So I got one article I got hit with from a lot of different sources, from energy people, AI people, just about everything. It's about the XAI facility in Memphis. Now, Memphis is an interesting little city, and I never really thought. I lived there for 20 years. I never really thought about it as having air pollution. But I never lived in the part of town where they had industry. And so that was a little.
Is that over near? Is it over near the river or not?
Yeah. So if you get over by the river, there's an area. It's called President's Island, but it's not. Maybe it was an island at one time.
Once upon a time, it probably was. Yes.
Yeah, it's not an island anymore. There's a couple of things there. Like there's a huge housing development on a place called Mud Island, and at one time it was just a sandbar, and now it's like housing developments,
right?
That they've built it up a lot, and there's other things there. But XAI Center for Grok is sitting on this President's Island area near the river. And one of the big complaints was it opened, and they had a whole bunch of gas turbines, and so now they're emitting more carbon emissions in the downtown, kind of in this one area called Boxtown, that is a poor neighborhood,
right?
And it's a zip code I never would buy rental. I would never buy investment property in. Okay, so it was a really, really low dollar area.
The property was cheap, which
yes.
is typically where they build these things.
Yes. So XAI told city and county planners in Memphis that it plans to build a solar farm right next to it. So they're going to put 88 acres to the west and south of the data center. There's a 136-acre vacant lot, and that would produce around 30 megawatts of electricity, but that's at best 10% of the data center's estimated power use.
Yeah.
I mean, it just blip. They have
how many acres? How many acres is the data center?
It's probably not that big. It currently uses 400 megawatts of gas turbines. According to the Southern Environmental Law Center, which is working with the NAACP,
right,
says that XAI has operated at least 35 turbines capable of emitting more than 2,000 tons of nitric oxide pollution, nitrogen oxide emissions that contribute to smog and respiratory problems annually. The turbines have sparked fierce opposition from residents in nearby Boxtown, a predominantly Black community where researchers at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, found that peak nitrogen dioxide concentration levels increased 79% in areas immediately surrounding the data center when XAI began operations. Community activists have reported increased asthma attacks and respiratory issues since the facility opened. The AI company has said that it intends to use the turbines until it can secure additional powers, but local officials give XAI a permit to operate 15 turbines through January of 2027. Now, in September, XAI said they would build a 100 megawatt solar farm nearby, which would be paired with 100 megawatts of grid-scale batteries to provide 24/7 source of electricity. It hasn't disclosed the total cost of the project, but the solar farm's developer was awarded $439 million from the Department of Agriculture. Of that, 414 million is an interest-free loan. The federal award is notable given that many clean energy grants and loans have been canceled by the Trump administration.
Yeah, one wonders what Doge was up to, huh?
Yeah, you never know.
It seems a little coincidental to me.
XAI has added gas turbines in Mississippi. So now Memphis sits on the corner of
Right.
Little Arkansas and Mississippi.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And so when we're talking about going into Mississippi, you're not even crossing water. It's just a land border.
Yeah.
Um, there are 59 gas turbines on site, and 18 of them are classified as temporary, meaning that regulators don't track their pollution.
Mm.
But anyways, if nothing else, they're adding more and more solar farms to try to power that thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's obviously huge on solar, right?
So what I want to know is how are they mounting them?
Yeah, that has none of that's been brought up.
They're I've done some interesting research on how you should mount your turbines, and depending on where you're located. And I imagine it's probably
Turbines or
less.
solar panels?
Oh, I'm sorry, the solar panels. My
Okay.
apologies. The mounting the solar panels. That there are circumstances where we're doing it totally wrong, the way we're
Mhm.
mounting it. But that we'll maybe talk about that. Well, we'll talk about it now or talk about it later.
Well, we'll talk about it later. So
Okay,
I got
let's
another
go.
one. So this is more solar. T1 Energy is betting big on all American solar, even under Trump. A Texas firm with a pretty much fully automated manufacturing of solar panels in Dallas is a company that was funded by a Chinese company. Okay. But
Okay.
it's an automated machinery, bright, clean factory floor. Wouldn't look out of place in Changzhou, China. But every so often, the pristine industrial order was punctuated by, of all things, carrier robots blasting psychedelic rock as they rolled down the aisles. So the robots are constantly blasting music so that they don't hit anybody. So people realize there's a robot
Realize
coming.
that they're there. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
getting louder and louder.
Well, that's these, they have these little robots that run around inside of restaurants. I've been to a couple in the Seattle area, and they play a tune, like a video game kind of music type of thing as they go around because you don't want that robot running into your customer.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, it's like the one at Sam's Club that's constantly cleaning the floor.
Yeah, I've heard about there, and somebody else was telling me about another store has the same thing.
Yeah, but it's almost the size of a forklift, the one that cleans the floor at Sam's. This place is making 20,000 photovoltaic modules a day. It's on track to produce 3 gigawatts this year, and it's operating 24/7. It's been running fast.
Are they single face or bifacial?
Doesn't indicate.
Probably doesn't say. Yeah.
Mm-mm. But there's a group called American Clean Energy that's part of this T1 manufacturing. Let's see. There was some interesting things that I saw because I looked at it. There's a company called Next Power that is part of this. So Next Power had visited T1 shortly before this. Hold on, give me a second. I'm trying to see. Maybe they're the main buyer, but much of the equipment of this facility has boxes that say Trina Solar, Trina Solar, which is a Chinese company, which is one of the biggest solar manufacturers in the world.
Yeah.
But originally they got boxes, and so they're still shipping stuff in the Trina boxes because they have apparently a boatload of boxes.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're saying they're not just going to destroy all of the boxes. Anyway.
Well, no, that wouldn't make sense. You know why? Just use them up.
Yeah. So, but this is interesting because they've got considerable manufacturing capability. There's no shortage of solar, obviously, going in Texas. So
they're making a significant play. I mean, they may be even by this time even larger than California.
Yes, I'm pretty sure they have passed that up. But they're trying to make all kinds of parts of the supply chain be done right in the United States. So that's good to see that. I just always wonder now with automation, it's probably competitive, right? But it's always been one of the challenges in that are workers cheap enough in the United States to be able to make something in the U.S. and keep it economical.
That's becoming, from what I'm reading, that's becoming less and less of an issue because the Chinese have automated so much of their production. So it's not so much what are you paying the wages is what's the cost of the capital to, put in the robots. Because all
Right.
that costs you then is just the electricity.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Um, let's see here.
Until
So,
they start demanding healthcare insurance.
so I had this interesting conversation with my son yesterday. My kids
Right.
were over. It's Thanksgiving, and we're talking about the fact that here in Omaha, well, in Sarpy County, if you head over towards Costco in La Vista, along Giles, there's this big field where they were going to put. Well, they have some soccer fields near there, but it's just full of wild turkeys. There's like 50, 60 of these big birds live in
Oh
that field.
yeah, yeah.
I
We've got.
mean,
I saw the couple photographs on next door where one of them had the turkey looking in the storm, glass front door, and another one where the person had looked like at least a half dozen turkeys, walking across their yard.
yeah. So, anyways, my son and I were discussing. It's like I think I could catch one of those turkeys. So we're doing a little research because
Oh
they never
yeah.
really seem very fast, right? So I'm talking to my AI, and my AI is getting concerned about me a little bit. Why I want to kill a turkey, but like I'm being mean to animals. But we're just sort of debating the physics of being able to run down one. And it's funny because my AI is saying, well, while you are a high level competitive tennis player and a good athlete, a wild turkey can actually run 20 to 25 miles per hour
Oh,
and does have
and
talons and a beak.
and
And
fly.
well, and it can fly 55 miles per hour too.
Oh
They don't
yeah.
fly very well, but they can fly a little bit. I've never, I don't think I've ever seen one fly above the treetops. You know what
No,
I mean?
they generally, no, they're not like ducks or geese or anything like that. They generally stay pretty low to the ground.
So then I started discussing with it. Well, what if I used a Tesla Optimus robot to chase the turkey? And so, anyways, AI is like, oh, as the podcast host for EV World, perhaps you've introduced a new benchmark for robotics.
So they
So
made you one, right?
yeah. So, anyways, so what the idea here is, um, the idea is, can we have Optimus, the Tesla Optimus, catch a wild turkey?
A wild turkey. Okay.
Yes. And so then we start talking about, well, what about should it just be restricted to Tesla? Should we also bring in Boston Dynamics?
Oh, well, let's bring in
Okay.
Xpeng too while we're at it.
Yeah. And anyways, so we started getting kind of creative with this. And one of my things was, well, where should we go? If we want this to be the benchmark, do we need to contact Elon? And it was trying to give me some ideas. Hey, hold on a second. I got two buddies who are, in business with Mario Nafal, who is the most retweeted person by Elon himself. He
Okay.
retweets
All
Mario
right.
more than anybody else.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, and Elon comes on Mario's show on a regular basis, at least a couple times a month.
Okay.
Okay. And just like, well, maybe
And you're acquainted with Mario.
I'm acquainted
right?
I'm not necessarily friends with Mario, but two of my friends are really close.
Okay.
Like Mario gave one of them a 40-something thousand watch as a gift recently.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This
So
is so you're 2 degrees of 2 or 3
yeah,
degrees
2
of
degrees,
separation.
2 degrees of separation.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
from Elon, then you would be what, 3 degrees of separation?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. But anyways, we were like, what could we do? Because I mean, it's an interesting piece to think about. It's like, could Optimus actually catch the turkey?
You're having too much fun with AI. I can tell that.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, the turkey can run pretty fast, I mean, running so fast, its feathers got on the wrong side of its body. For
Yeah,
starters.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't look too.
And when they run, they actually pull the feathers, the tail feathers in.
Well, Spark felt that Optimus wouldn't be very afraid of the turkeys fighting back. Okay, so
Right.
that was one real plus too, was that maybe Optimus could actually get a hold of the turkey. So we're thinking that this could be an annual benchmark for robotics, is the ability, they're always talking about these scale, like the hardest human test or whatever for AI and all these things that people can generally only get like out of 100 questions, maybe one or two, but AI can get 70 of them, and like Gemini 3 can now get like 75 of them or something like that out of the 100 questions, so it's been kind of funny to see some of these ideas. And so anyways, we felt, this is my feeling as I came across this, and my AI was pretty adamant that I'm not going to physically be able to run down a turkey. But that's not unlikely, but
Yeah.
So can Tesla Optimus catch a wild turkey? Well, that's one of the big questions here. We're talking real world robotics benchmark challenge here for Optimus. Okay, so the ultimate real world test is so the Optimus, one of the problems is it doesn't move well in rough terrain. It only really goes about walking speed so far. So there has to be a fair amount of boosting, because the turkey can run 20 to 25 miles per hour with short bursts of flying up to 55 miles per hour. But Optimus will be relentless in its pursuit. Okay. Now, the AI felt that Optimus could chase it forever, but that's not true, because Optimus has to be recharged, right? So there was challenges. We also looked at the idea of maybe a Boston Dynamics, quadruped could chase it, but so there's certain challenges to this. But it would be basically, it requires dynamic object tracking, be able to track this moving target. Have to make real-time decision making, because the turkey is going to be changing directions all the time, right? Which might allow Optimus to catch up a little bit if it can react quick enough, right? What does it do when the target goes airborne? I mean, there are all these challenges. And then, of course, you've got terrain. You've got grass, hills, rocks, obstacles. You just never know. Hell, the turkey could go running out into traffic for all we know. And then grip control. Can the Optimus secure a 15 to 20 pound thrashing bird? So anyways, here we have Optimus with turkey feathers, and we have the turkey with robot hands. Okay, so anyways, it could be, there could be something to this. I think this would really increase awareness for robotics, especially around Thanksgiving. And it would give some real practical utility to the robots, and think about the agricultural applications, livestock management, wildlife control, farm automation,
right?
And then of course competitive positioning, a public benchmark versus competitors. Our robot can catch a wild turkey. What can yours do? Okay, so I mean.
Well, yeah. You know what they're doing in China? They're actually having foot races of robots competing. Can't say head to head, silicon head to silicon head, or whatever you want to call it. So they're trying, and some of them, I don't think they've been particularly successful at that. They're not going to do the, 3-minute mile or something like that. But it's an intriguing idea. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, between Yogi and I, we probably put in 15 to 30 minutes of manual labor to produce all of this content for you guys today. Okay, so we put some real work into doing the right prompts and getting the images. I can thank Yogi for the graphical images the videos we started with, and I did the deck.
There you go.
And, yes, and but we had the turkey chase. Now this is interesting. It actually was comparing the turkey chase to elder care assistance. And I'm not sure if this is like, somebody who's got dementia has escaped and Optimus is supposed to go get them. I haven't quite figured that part out yet. It says holding the turkey, you have to be gentle with it, not to crush the bird, right? So make it easier training for elder care. And tennis ball retrieval. Well, you see that, I think that's useful. I mean, it could be handy to go fetch tennis balls for me. Construction navigation, for safety and obstacles. Could be used for search and rescue and agricultural tasks. I mean, it really has some real stress test things, some real capabilities of the robot. Anyway,
when do we ask it to run a marathon, and what does that become?
I don't know. I guess it's a matter of if it has enough juice in the batteries, right?
Yeah.
As
for the issue of flying, right? There, if you go look there are some YouTube videos of different types of now human scale. Instead of having to sit in this contraption with these blades spinning out, dangerously out around you on this thing, they actually now have this. One guy has gloves that you put on that's got jet thrusters built into it, and he flies with that. And then another one is a platform that straps to your back and has all these little micro fans spinning, and that can lift you off the ground and fly you. So we're getting ever closer to the Iron Man model here. We keep this up.
Yeah. Well, we've got some different, pieces here. Obviously, we've got Optimus, Boston Dynamics. There's other ones. There's Agility Robotics, Sanctuary II, Aptronic, Unitree, Fourier. And you were saying Xpeng has robots. There's a lot of interesting ideas here. Oh, just bringing information on me. But so anyways, it was just a really interesting conversation I had about this with my AI yesterday, and it led to this presentation. And we're trying to see how we can make this go viral a little bit and make this something that could be an annual Thanksgiving robotics
annual Thanksgiving catch the robot
benchmark
turkey.
test. So anyways, you just Yeah.
How much eggnog did you have yesterday?
Not enough. It was pretty funny. My AI at first, when I started the questioning, it was getting concerned why I wanted to harm wild
turkeys.
Yeah, and it's like my AI is not hunting friendly, and I told it I wanted a quick and easy snack.
Oh Lord, yeah. Well, go down to Costco and get a frozen turkey. You'd be much better.
Yeah. All right, so we'll get into the meat of the real EV news now.
Okay, all right. Let's do it.
The United Kingdom announces a controversial pay-per-mile EV tax starting in 2028. Now, this isn't the worst thing I've seen. 3 pence per mile. Tax. Plug-in hybrids will pay 1.5 pence per mile starting in April of 2028. So
if it gets accepted, at this point, it's just a proposal by the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Now, what I'm concerned about is it's 3 pence per mile. Did this actually convert it from kilometer? So is it 5 pence or 2 pence per kilometer?
That's a good question. I don't know, because when you get things out of England, they can be done in statute miles, or they can be done in European kilometers. And I didn't pick up on which of those it is. 3 cents per mile is it'd be pence per mile.
Yeah.
It'd be roughly equivalent. I don't know what I should ask the AI. What is a pence these days? But generally, it's equivalent to 1 or 2 cents, something like that. Let's find out.
I mean, that could be 300. If you drove 10,000 miles a year, that could be a $300 tax or 300-pound tax. I mean, that could be. To me, that seems kind of hefty, but I don't know.
How much is a English pence in U.S. cents? Let's see what it says.
I'd imagine it's about 1.3.
1.25. 1.25. Yeah.
Okay. But so the average EV driver, which drives about 7,400 miles per year, would pay 222 pounds annually. Concerns about environmental costs and fairness, as petrol diesel drivers pay roughly 6 pence per mile equivalent. Oh, okay. So it's
a lot cheaper. It's half.
So it's half of what. Yeah. So that seems like it's pretty fair if that's what
that seems fair because you're not generating all that crappy stuff coming out of the tailpipe of your car, particularly the diesels.
Yeah. No, it needs to be a little bit more fair. Okay. Hyundai today opens an $820 million future mobility battery campus. A topping out ceremony held today, November 28th, so it was this morning, for a massive 197,000 cubic meter battery R&D campus. To put that in perspective, 197,000 cubic meters is about 2 million square feet.
Pretty big. Where's that in Korea?
Yeah, that's in Korea, Ansong, Korea. $820 million investment with completion scheduled for the end of 2026. We'll focus on next-gen battery tech, including solid-state batteries, LFP, and advanced lithium-ion for EVs and energy storage.
And not sodium? I bet there's sodium in there somewhere. That's the direction we're going.
It doesn't really mention sodium in there. You know, I told you, like my friends with East Group, they're making sodium ion 12-volt batteries for cars. Right. You know, and they could do sodium ion for battery storage, but they do LFP for battery storage currently.
There's greater energy density in the LFP than there is in the sodium. But that probably involves somebody at some point coming up with a secret sauce that matches it and lets you cut the price of the battery by a third.
Isn't LFP slightly less energy dense than lithium ion?
It's less dense than the typical magnesium cobalt.
Okay.
But it does. Right. But unlike the magnesium cobalt, it doesn't explode or combust as readily. So yeah, it's a safety factor.
All right. Hyundai launches vehicle-to-grid pilot service in Korea, plus vehicle-to-home services. EVs can now sell power back to the grid during peak demand, creating new revenue stream for EV owners. Part of expanded EV energy services strategy, positioning EVs as mobile power sources supporting grid stability. So this is interesting. So Hyundai is doing this. Tesla is still on the opposite end of things. Of course, Tesla sells battery storage, right? Hyundai doesn't.
Right.
You know, so maybe there's a bit of an inherent conflict there. Let's see.
Or they're just simply decided we're going to make EVs. Let's make EVs that can also function as mobile batteries. So
yeah. Tesla faces a Q4 sales decline, first annual drop in over a decade. Global Tesla deliveries expected to decline 7% for the full year of 2025.
Last couple of months, it's been half, 50% drop in sales in Europe.
Wow. Despite sales challenges, the stock remains elevated but faces pressure from Musk's political distractions. He really hasn't been doing anything politically though for a while.
Yeah, he's been quiet for a while. Maybe he's been chastised enough, or he got what he wanted from Doge, because apparently, if you see the analysis that's coming out now, the Doge was a total bust, accomplished nothing but just cost people their jobs and aid programs and things like that. So that was just a joke. I guess he got what he wanted. He wanted restrictions removed, or investigations into his company removed, and maybe some money thrown his way in the form of grants and things like that. So he got what he wanted.
Yeah, looks like all of our EV stocks are up today. So Rivian stock has rallied 45% in the third quarter. Rivian stock jumped 18% after beating Q3 expectations on November 4th. Is now up 45% from early November lows. Lucid posted a 1 $1.03 billion net loss on $336 million in revenue. So they brought in $336 million, but lost $1 billion.
But they still lost more. Yeah.
They spent $1 billion more than that. Missing expectations. Stock down 40% in past month.
I wonder where is that going to build out infrastructure to turn out more cars?
Gravities.
Or, I mean,
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's expenditures they're putting out to build more gravities. So, and at the same time, as I mentioned a couple of days ago, Lucid won J.D. Power's best luxury EV brand. Oh no, this was different because that was U.S. News. I think it was the other day. Said that they had declared Lucid as being the best luxury EV. Now J.D. Power says it's the best luxury EV brand of 2025. Let's see.
Oh yeah, Tesla's the Model Y, I think, is rated by was the Consumer's Report as the worst production car in terms of quality. It's
Which one?
Sad.
Which
I think
car?
it's the Model Y. It's one of the Tesla models, either the Y or the 3.
Who said it had the worst production quality?
Consumer Reports, I believe.
Wild. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
But you never know. Once again, are they complaining about over-the-air updates or actual customer issues?
The car build quality, apparently.
Interesting. Let's see. U.S. November auto sales are expected to be down 8% year over year. A lot of that it has to do with the fact that EV sales cut in half. But we'll see where that is. But that still is the entire car industry is down 8%. So
yeah, they're Europe. I think car registrations in Europe were up like 1.5%, something like that. Whereas the market share of EVs is over 16% now across Europe.
All right. We've got a couple of articles we've already discussed. Solar and wind now meeting and exceeding global power demand growth.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Mm-hmm. Through September 2025, solar and wind outpaced growth in power demand globally. Trend must accelerate to achieve fossil fuel phase-out targets, but represents major milestone. The IAEA reports 416 nuclear reactors provide roughly 376 gigawatts globally, pushed to triple nuclear by 2015 or by 2050 within reach of governments act. I think that's going to happen. I see so much interest in nuclear, but most of that, isn't going to be in place for another 6 to 10 years. When you really start seeing it roll out.
Yeah, let me mention too that you mentioned earlier about the wind. I guess we were talking about off camera about how strong the wind was, and it was really blowing up a storm for more than 24 hours. It turns out, I said, well, God, I wonder how much of that is being turned into energy. We're on what's called the Southwest Power Grid. And the Southwest Power Grid, for that window, when that wind was blowing up a storm, wind was doing 61 plus, I think it was 61.5 or something like that, of our electrical power on our grid was being generated by that wind blowing out there.
That cut down on coal usage, that's for sure, and LNG usage. Yeah. It's kind of cool to see all of that. All right. Germany now has 720 gigawatts of battery storage applications pending. They're flooding the grid connection queue. 78 gigawatts approved for connections, with another 720 with applications. Demonstrates urgent need for grid connection rules reform to handle a massive influx of storage projects. Well, it's nice to see that another country has its bureaucratic red tape problems too, not just the United States.
Well, yeah, you kind of want to have that oversight happen, but anyway, yeah, they're headed in the right direction. They're using less coal and more renewable, so good for them.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, what do we got that's different today?
Hey,
Mercedes.
Can I talk
Yeah,
about the world's quickest super EV?
sure.
Probably never heard of this thing. It's called, I don't know how you pronounce it, A Spark or Aspark Owl.
Hmm.
Ever heard of it?
Yep, yep. We talked about it 2 years ago.
Oh, well, boy, you got great memory. Anyway, it has an incredible acceleration speed. Now, normally we measure these things. What does it do in 0 to 60, right? How
Hmm.
fast is it in 0 to 60? Like a Tesla Plaid is somewhere, what, around less than 3 seconds, something like that. This car will hit 185 miles per gallon or miles per hour in 10 seconds. 108, I think it's 180, something like 185, 186 miles per hour in 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's crazy to imagine that kind of speed. If nothing else, at least it looks cool.
yeah,
Let's
it's
see.
yeah, you got a picture of it?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I
Yep.
mean, it is nice looking. These pictures are from about a year ago
Yeah.
because we did a video on the Spark. Like I said, it's been probably 2 years when they were developing this. Um, but wow, is it ever a pretty car?
But it's something like 2.5 million.
Yeah, it's not for the budget
It's
conscious.
not for the budget conscious. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, Set two world records. Eighth of a mile. Did an eighth of a mile at an average speed of 192. Stormed through the quarter mile at 198.
Yeah.
Um,
Top
it's ru-
top speed is theoretically 256, I think.
yeah, 258. Oh no, I'm
258.
sorry. The Rimac is 258. This one might be 256. The Rimac is still the world's quickest electric production car over the quarter mile with a time of 8.58 seconds. It's also the record holder for the highest top speed achieved by electric car at 258. Um, let's see. They claim it's the fastest accelerating car in the world. The Aspire is. The Aspire Owl is. Or it's got 1,985 horsepower. It's almost twice the power of a Formula One car. It did 0 to 60 in 1.72.
That's fat. That is more, I think, than the. We always talk about warbirds. Isn't that more than the Merlin Packard Mustang
Yeah, probably.
in terms of horsepower? I mean, the Mustang will do well 400, but
um,
that's still pretty dang good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know that late stage P47s had a 2,800 horsepower
Yeah,
radial engine,
dual
and
Pratt and Whitney.
yeah, and so did the F6F. Yeah.
Right.
Um, let's see, but here's the same car in yellow. So we've got
Yeah.
some choices. We've seen that light blue, we've seen gray, and now we've got yellow. So if you're willing to pony up the $2.5 million or $3.5 million, my bad,
Oh,
three and a
okay.
half
He's a three and
million
a half
bucks.
million. Okay. I know it was well beyond my bank account.
Yeah. There are any more images? Yeah, I mean it's obviously sharp looking, look good in anybody's garage. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's it's quite fuel efficient being an EV and no emissions. You know,
I wonder how
but
easy it is to get in and out of.
I was thinking about that. So I like the idea of not having the roof on there. I know that would make it a little simpler
Yeah.
because you're practically sitting on the floor. So yeah, that one's always a cool thing to talk about, seeing what we get for
And
fast cars.
and at the other end of the spectrum, we
Hmm.
have a product called a Sur-Ron, SUR-RON,
Hmm.
which apparently all the kids, the younger generation, are asking, hey, mom and dad, can I have a Suron? Well, what the heck is a Suron? A Suron is an electric e-bike without pedals. And it'll do upwards of, depending on the model, will do upwards of 50 plus miles per hour. Okay. The big problem is that they are not legal.
Yeah.
You can't drive them on the road. You can't drive them on the sidewalk. You can only drive them on your own private property. So I guess if you got a farm and you're into off-roading, dirt biking, well, that'd be fine. But you just be, if your kids are, Christmas is coming up, right? And if the kids are, hey, other kids at school, I see them riding electric bikes and kick scooters. I want one of those. And I see that here in our neighborhood. If you want, make sure that you find out if and where what they're asking for is legal, because you may send your personal home insurance through the roof or however you insurance. And of course, you will deal with the kid if, being stopped by a local constabulary to, take possession of it. So anyway, just as a word of advice, be careful of what you buy your kids to make sure that it's legal in your community to use.
So what country in the EU do you think is buying the most battery electric cars? Not as a percentage.
I know.
But the actual total.
We should ask, hey, readers, comment below, and who do you think
buys the most electric cars?
Buys the most electric cars.
Yeah. Now, as market share, it's Denmark.
Oh yeah. Oh, way ahead of everybody.
Yeah. But it would just, I guess it's not surprising who it is. Yep. We don't get any contestants yet, but so Bill lost audio. Well, that's not a big surprise.
I've lost.
Well, anyways, folks, it's Germany. Germany had 434,000 new EV registrations so far for the year. Spain had the sharpest rise, with EV registration jumping 89%. Italy saw an increase of 26%. France posted more modest growth of 5%. New EV registration surged in Poland 124%, although the total of newly registered EVs, 30,600, meant battery electric cars still represented only 6.4% of its overall market. Anyways, that's okay. All right, Bill, do you hear me now?
Give me a minute.
Oh.
Okay, how's that?
No, you're good. You're good.
Just did it again and just said, I'm going to stop working.
That's so random. And I don't know if it's a StreamYard problem. I mean, you simply exit the studio and come back, and it works.
Yeah, I want to exit the studio and come back. Here I am. So sorry, everybody.
I think that's a StreamYard issue. I just can't imagine that your system would be doing that. So I really don't know what could, because that doesn't make any sense otherwise, right?
Yeah, I know.
Who knows? Anyways, that was all I had today for our Black Friday edition.
Before we go, can I mention coming back to solar briefly?
Sure.
Okay. I've been doing some research I came across a video that totally blew me away. I said, what? That doesn't make sense. Everybody, it seems, that puts in solars always does this, right? You mount it at an angle to get the maximum solar from whatever your latitude happens to be. It turns out, though, that if you do this and you do this, you actually, in fact, can generate a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more steady amount of power longer through the day. Mm-hmm. So I've been looking at that. There are now, it won't work at all latitudes and all climates. This works best if you're in a more northerly latitude and you're subject to snow.
Mhm.
And if these panels are what we would call bifacial, because they're now coming more and more, those becoming in production, you got solar on this side and solar also on this side. So you're actually picking up solar from not only directly from the sun, but from basically ambient and reflected light this way than you do this way. Particularly the more modern, the older panels have a white backing behind them. So you don't pick up any solar from the backside of that panel. And oftentimes when they're mounted against the roof, you're not getting obviously any kind of solar. It's all coming from the front. And it turns out if you do this and face it east and run the rows north and south, that you actually get, and I also learned if you canter them a little bit so that they're slightly off the angle, so they're facing, one side's facing northeast, the other side is facing more towards the southwest, you're actually going to generate the equivalent, not necessarily the equivalent, because you're going to get a higher peak during the noon hour with the angled sun, but you're going to get a more steady production of energy if you mount. So that was a little thing I picked up that surprised me, and I thought maybe it was worth, if you're interested in doing solar, maybe do a little research. Just do some search on YouTube for vertical solar panels. There's a bunch of really good videos out there that explain the advantage of going vertical rather than putting them on the angle.
It makes sense if you're hitting one side for part of the day, then at noon it passes over and hits the other side. I mean, it makes sense because then you're getting more.
Because if you've got your panel this way and the sun is up here, then at noon hour you're going to have very little other than what might bounce off, the ground and things like that in the ambient. But as the sun, because it moves in this arc and gets lower in the west and comes up in the southeast, particularly in the winter, this is really good for winter times power production, which is really interesting because now the sun is at that angle, it's setting, and so you're getting the shoulder period of that parabola that you typically see with solar. You're getting a wider spectrum, and actually the power production is a steadier curve than this steep, I think the word's parabola, right? This curve, bell curve that is typical of solar. So I found that interesting, and I'm working on an application for that. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
All right. Anyways, folks, want to thank everybody for chiming in here on Black Friday. Hopefully you find some deals for shopping for Christmas or whatever.
Oh my God! Did you see what they're selling MacBook Airs for?
No.
25% off.
Oh, that's a nice deal.
Yeah, that's a nice deal. Anyways,
folks, have a great day, and we'll be back on Tuesday. Thanks so much.